Anna and David had been married for 5 years, sharing a modest home and a seemingly content life. Anna worked at a local bakery, dedicating her days to crafting pastries and serving customers with a warm smile. David was employed at an office, adhering to the typical 9-to-5 routine. Their daily rituals painted the picture of a harmonious couple. Mornings began with the aroma of freshly brewed coffee as they sat together discussing plans and sharing thoughts, fostering a connection that many couples cherish. Evenings were reserved for unwinding in each other's company, watching television and recounting the day's events, solidifying their bond and providing mutual support. To outsiders, Anna and David epitomized marital bliss, embodying the essence of a content partnership. However, subtle changes began to surface in their routine, unsettling the foundation of their relationship. David started coming home later than usual, attributing his tardiness to increased workloads and demanding projects at the office. Initially, Anna accepted these explanations, understanding the pressures of his job. But as the instances multiplied, doubts began to creep into her mind. She noticed that David often seemed preoccupied, his attention frequently diverted to his phone. He would smile subtly while reading messages, but became evasive when Anna inquired, dismissing her concerns, with vague references to work-related matters. This uncharacteristic behavior planted seeds of suspicion in Anna's heart, leading her to question the authenticity of David's explanations. One evening, while David was in the shower, his phone buzzed on the table, drawing Anna's attention. A message preview appeared on the screen. "I miss you already. Last night was amazing." The sender's name was Maya. Anna's heart raced as she read the words, her mind swirling with confusion and disbelief. The affectionate tone and intimate content of the message were unmistakable. She felt a surge of emotions, shock, betrayal, and a deep-seated ache that settled in her chest. Questions flooded her mind. Who was Maya? What had transpired the previous night? Was David involved in an affair? The weight of the revelation pressed heavily on Anna. She grappled with the possibility that her husband, whom she had trusted implicitly, might be unfaithful. The evidence was compelling, yet she yearned for an alternative explanation, something that would dispel her growing fears. That night, as David lay beside her, unaware of her turmoil, Anna stared at the ceiling, sleep eluding her. The familiar comfort of their shared bed now felt foreign and cold. She was engulfed by a maelstrom of emotions, torn between confronting David and fearing the confirmation of her worst suspicions. In the days that followed, Anna became more observant, noting every detail of David's behavior. His continued secrecy, the guarded way he handled his phone, and his frequent absences only deepened her anxiety. The foundation of trust that their marriage was built upon seemed to be crumbling, leaving Anna in a state of uncertainty and pain. She felt isolated, unable to confide in friends or family, fearing judgment or the potential fallout of exposing David's possible infidelity. Anna's internal conflict intensified as she debated her next steps. Confronting David directly could lead to an admission of guilt, but it could also result in denial and further deception. Ignoring the situation was equally unbearable, as the nagging doubts gnawed at her peace of mind. She considered seeking advice from a close friend but hesitated, wary of involving others in such a personal and delicate matter. As days turned into a week, Anna's health began to suffer. The stress manifested in sleepless nights, loss of appetite, and a pervasive sense of sadness. She found it challenging to focus at work, her mind constantly replaying the message from Maya and the implications it carried. The once vibrant and cheerful woman felt diminished, overshadowed by the looming uncertainty of her marriage's future. In her quest for clarity, Anna contemplated checking David's phone again, seeking more evidence to either confirm or refute her suspicions. However, she was conflicted about violating his privacy, understanding that such actions could further damage their relationship. The moral dilemma weighed heavily on her, highlighting the complexity of trust and the boundaries within a marriage. Ultimately, Anna realized that she could not continue living under the cloud of doubt and suspicion. She needed to address the issue head-on to seek the truth regardless of the outcome. Gathering her courage, she decided that the next time an opportunity presented itself, she would confront David about Maya and the message she had seen. The path ahead was uncertain, but Anna knew that facing the truth was the only way to reclaim her peace of mind and determine the future of her marriage. Anna sat on the couch, her mind racing as she held David's phone in her trembling hands. The message from Maya had shattered her trust, leaving her grappling with a whirlwind of emotions. She wanted to cry, to scream, but instead, she maintained a facade of normalcy. When David emerged from the shower, oblivious to her discovery, Anna forced a smile, concealing the turmoil brewing within her. That night, sleep eluded her as questions plagued her mind. Who was Maya? What had transpired? Between her and David? Was her marriage built on lies? The following day, unable to quell her suspicions, Anna made a bold decision. She called in sick to the bakery and discreetly followed David as he left for work. Keeping a safe distance, she trailed his car through the familiar streets of their town. David's routine seemed ordinary at first. He arrived at his office and went inside. Anna parked nearby, her heart pounding as she debated the morality of her actions. But the gnawing need for truth overpowered her reservations. Around lunchtime, Anna's vigilance was rewarded. She watched as David exited the office, glancing around as if ensuring he wasn't being observed. He walked briskly to his car and drove off. Anna, fueled by a mix of dread and determination, followed him through the maze of city streets. Her pulse quickened when she saw him pull into the parking lot of a quaint cafe nestled in a quiet neighborhood. She parked at a distance, her eyes never leaving him. Minutes later, a woman approached the cafe. She was striking, with long dark hair cascading over her shoulders and lips painted a bold shade of red. Anna's stomach churned as she watched David rise to greet the woman with a warm embrace. They settled into a corner booth, their heads close together, sharing laughter and intimate glances. To any onlooker, they appeared as lovers lost in their own world. Anna's worst fears were materializing before her eyes. As the hour passed, Anna remained rooted in her car, a silent observer to the betrayal unfolding before her. She noted every detail, the way David's hand occasionally brushed against Maya's, the shared smiles, the familiarity that spoke of a deep connection. Her mind raced with memories of her life with David, juxtaposed against the painful reality she was witnessing. The man she had trusted implicitly was sharing moments of affection with another woman. The final blow came when David and Maya left the cafe together. Anna's breath caught in her throat as she watched them walk side by side, their bodies close, towards a nearby boutique hotel. They entered without hesitation, disappearing from view. Anna's world crumbled. The evidence was undeniable. David was not just emotionally involved with Maya. Their relationship had crossed into physical intimacy. The weight of the revelation pressed down on her, leaving her gasping for air. Driving. Home in a daze, Anna replayed the day's events over and over in her mind. The images of David with Maya were seared into her consciousness. She felt a profound sense of loss, as if the foundation of her life had been ripped away, leaving her adrift in a sea of uncertainty. Tears streamed down her face as she grappled with the magnitude of the betrayal. The man she had built a life with, shared dreams with, was leading a double life. At home, the walls seemed to close in on her. Every corner of the house held memories of David, reminders of the love they once shared. But now, those memories were tainted, overshadowed by the painful truth. Anna felt a surge of anger amidst her sorrow. How could David deceive her so callously? What did Maya have that she didn't? Was their entire marriage a facade? Determined to find answers, Anna resolved to confront David. But she knew she needed more than just the evidence of her eyes. She needed to understand the depth of his deception. She began to piece together fragments of information, recalling moments over the past months that now took on new meaning. Late nights at the office, unexplained absences, the guarded way he handled his phone. The signs had been there, but love had blinded her to them. As night fell, Anna sat in the dimly lit living room, a glass of wine in hand, steeling herself for the confrontation ahead. She knew that uncovering the truth was only the first step. What came next would determine the course of her life. The road ahead was fraught with pain and uncertainty, but Anna knew she couldn't live in the shadows of deception any longer. She had to face the reality of her marriage, no matter how devastating it might be. Anna sat alone in the dimly lit living room, the weight of her discovery pressing heavily upon her. The message from Maya had shattered her trust, leaving her adrift in a sea of uncertainty. She knew she couldn't ignore the situation any longer. Confronting David was inevitable. The thought of the impending conversation filled her with dread, but she steeled herself, understanding that clarity was essential for her peace of mind. That evening, as David entered the house, he sensed the tension in the air. Anna stood in the kitchen, her back to him, hands gripping the edge of the counter. He approached her cautiously, placing a gentle hand on her shoulder. "Anna, is everything okay?" he asked, concern evident in his voice. She turned to face him, her eyes searching his for any sign of the man she thought she knew. Taking a deep breath, she held up his phone, displaying the incriminating message. "Who is Maya?" she inquired, her voice trembling. David's eyes widened in shock, his gaze shifting from the phone to Anna's face. He opened his mouth to speak but hesitated, the words catching in his throat. "Anna, I can explain," he began, his tone pleading. "Please do," she replied, her voice laced with a mixture of hurt and anger. David ran a hand through his hair, exhaling deeply. "Maya is a colleague from work. We've been working closely on a project and things got out of hand," he admitted, avoiding her gaze. Anna felt her heart shatter further at his confession. "Out of hand? David, you lied to me. You betrayed our marriage," she said, her voice breaking. He reached out to her, but she stepped back, creating a physical distance between them. "I never meant to hurt you, Anna. It was a mistake," he insisted, desperation creeping into his voice. Tears streamed down Anna's face as she grappled with the reality of his words. "A mistake? How long has this been going on?" she demanded. David looked down, shame coloring his features. "A few months," he admitted quietly. Anna's knees buckled, and she sank into a chair, the weight of his betrayal overwhelming her. "I trusted you, David. I thought we were happy," she whispered. He knelt beside her, his eyes pleading. "I love you, Anna. I made a terrible mistake, but I want to fix this. Please, give me a chance to make it right," he implored. Anna looked into his eyes, searching for sincerity. The man before her was both familiar and foreign, a stranger wearing her husband's face. She wanted to believe him, to believe that their marriage could withstand this storm. But the pain was too fresh, the wounds too deep. "I need time," she said finally, her voice barely above a whisper. David nodded, tears brimming in his own eyes. "Take all the time you need. I'll do whatever it takes to earn back your trust," he vowed. In the days that followed, Anna found herself oscillating between anger, sorrow, and confusion. She sought solace in the familiarity of her daily routines, but even the simplest tasks felt burdensome. The bakery, once her sanctuary, now felt like a prison, each loaf of bread a reminder of the life she once knew. Friends and family noticed her withdrawal, but she offered little explanation, unwilling to expose the fractures. In her marriage, she spent hours walking through the park, the crisp air a temporary balm to her aching heart. One afternoon, as she sat on a bench watching children play, an elderly woman joined her. Noticing Anna's tear-streaked face, the woman offered a kind smile. "Heartache has a way of finding us all," she said gently. Anna looked at her, surprised by the stranger's insight. "How do you move past it?" she asked, her voice laden with despair. The woman patted her hand. "Time, my dear, and the courage to face the truth, whatever it may be," she replied. That evening, Anna returned home to find David waiting for her, a hopeful expression on his face. "I've started seeing a counselor," he informed her. "I want to understand why I did what I did and how to prevent it from happening again." Anna nodded, acknowledging his effort. "I appreciate that," she said. Softly, they stood in silence, the chasm between them vast yet bridgeable. Anna knew that the road to healing would be long and arduous, but perhaps, with time and effort, they could find their way back to each other. As she prepared for bed that night, Anna caught a glimpse of her reflection in the mirror. The woman, staring back at her, was changed. The innocence of blind trust replaced with the wisdom of experience. She realized that while David's betrayal had wounded her deeply, it had also unveiled a strength she never knew she possessed. Climbing into bed, she turned off the light and stared into the darkness, contemplating the uncertain future. But amidst the uncertainty, a flicker of hope remained, a testament to the resilience of the human heart. In the days following David's confession, Anna found herself engulfed in a whirlwind of emotions. The man she had trusted and built a life with had betrayed her, and the weight of that realization was almost too much to bear. She oscillated between anger, sadness, and a deep sense of loss. The walls of their home, once filled with love and laughter, now seemed to echo with the silence of their strained relationship. David, for his part, was visibly remorseful. He made concerted efforts to demonstrate his commitment to repairing the damage he'd caused. He left work earlier than usual, ensuring he spent more time at home. He frequently checked in on Anna, asking about her day and expressing his love for her. He even suggested they attend couples therapy to navigate the chasm that had formed between them. While Anna appreciated his gestures, the wound was still fresh, and trust, once broken, isn't easily mended. One evening, as they sat across from each other at the dinner table, the air thick with unspoken words, Anna finally broke the silence. "David," she began, her voice trembling, "I need to understand why. Why did you turn to her?" David looked down at his plate, shame coloring his features. "I don't have a good answer, Anna," he admitted. "It wasn't about you or anything lacking in our marriage. I was selfish. I made a terrible mistake, and I regret it every single day." Anna nodded slowly, absorbing his words. "I want to believe you, David. But trust isn't something that can be rebuilt overnight." "I know," he said, reaching across the table to take her hand. "And I'm willing to do whatever it takes to earn back your trust." They decided to seek the guidance of a marriage counselor, hoping that professional intervention might provide them with the tools to heal. Their first session was fraught with tension. Anna was hesitant, unsure if airing their grievances in front of a stranger would help or hinder their progress. David, on the other hand, was eager, perhaps out of guilt or a genuine desire to make amends. The counselor, a middle-aged woman with a calm demeanor, listened intently as they recounted their story. She then posed a question that neither had considered. "What do you both want moving forward?" Anna was the first to respond. "I want to heal. I want to trust David again. But I don't know how." David squeezed her hand gently. "I want to prove to Anna that I'm committed to her and our marriage. I want us to find our way back to each other." The counselor nodded. "Healing takes time," she said. "It's a journey, not a destination. Both of you need to be patient with yourselves and each other. In the subsequent sessions, they delved deeper into the underlying issues in their relationship. Anna realized that while David's infidelity was a significant breach of trust, there were other, subtler issues that had been festering beneath the surface. They had become complacent, allowing the monotony of daily life to erode the passion and connection they once shared. David acknowledged his failings, not just in his betrayal, but in taking their relationship for granted. He recognized that he had stopped putting in the effort, assuming that their love would withstand any storm without maintenance. Outside of therapy, they began to make small changes. They set aside dedicated time for each other, free from the distractions of work and technology. They revisited activities they once enjoyed together, like cooking meals and taking evening walks. These moments, though seemingly trivial, became the building blocks of their renewed connection. However, the path to reconciliation wasn't without its hurdles. There were days when Anna would be overwhelmed by doubt, questioning David's every move. Trust, once shattered, casts long shadows. David, understanding the depth of his transgression, remained patient, offering reassurances without defensiveness. One evening, as they sat on their porch watching the sunset, Anna turned to David. "Do you think we'll ever be the same again?" she asked. David took a moment before responding. "I don't know if we'll be the same," he admitted, "but maybe we can be something new, something stronger." Anna leaned her head on his shoulder, contemplating his words. The road ahead was uncertain, but for the first time in a long while, she felt a glimmer of hope. As the days turned into weeks, their efforts began to bear fruit. The laughter returned, the shared glances, the inside jokes. While the memory of David's betrayal would never entirely fade, it became a chapter in their story rather than its entirety. They learned that love isn't just about the joyous moments, but also about weathering the storms together. In the end, their journey was a testament to the resilience of the human heart and the transformative power of forgiveness. In the following weeks, Anna and David continued their counseling sessions, delving deeper into the intricacies of their relationship. The therapist encouraged open dialogue, prompting them to express feelings they had long suppressed. Anna voiced her lingering doubts and fears, while David confronted the guilt and shame that had been consuming him. These sessions, though emotionally taxing, became a crucible in which the foundations of their marriage were tested and slowly rebuilt. Outside the therapist's office, Anna found herself reflecting on the early days of their relationship. She remembered the excitement of their courtship, the shared dreams, and the promises whispered in the dark. These memories, once a source of comfort, now served as a stark contrast to their current reality. Yet amidst the pain, they reminded her of the love that had once been the cornerstone of their union. David, too, was undergoing a transformation. He became more attuned to Anna's emotional needs, recognizing moments when she felt vulnerable or insecure. He made a conscious effort to be present, not just physically but emotionally. Small gestures, like leaving notes of appreciation or preparing her favorite meal, became his way of demonstrating his commitment to their healing process. One evening, as they sat together on the couch, David turned to Anna with a solemn expression. "I've been thinking," he began, "about how we can move forward. I know words aren't enough, so I want to show you through my actions." Anna looked at him, curiosity piqued. "What do you have in mind?" she asked. "Let's renew our vows," David proposed. "Not as a way to erase the past, but to reaffirm our commitment to each other and to the future we're building together." The suggestion caught Anna off guard. She felt a mix of emotions, hope, apprehension, and a flicker of the love they once shared. After a moment's contemplation, she nodded. "I think that could be a meaningful step for us," she agreed. They decided on an intimate ceremony, inviting only close family and friends who had been privy to their struggles. Planning the event became a collaborative effort, symbolizing their joint commitment to rebuilding their relationship. They chose a serene garden setting, reminiscent of the place where David had first proposed years ago. On the day of the ceremony, as Anna walked down the makeshift aisle, she felt a renewed sense of purpose. David stood waiting, his eyes reflecting both remorse and unwavering love. When they exchanged vows, their words were imbued with the weight of their experiences, acknowledging past mistakes while expressing hope for the future. In the days that followed, the renewed commitment acted as a catalyst for deeper connection. They established new routines, such as setting aside time each week for uninterrupted conversations, ensuring that communication remained a priority. They also explored new activities together, fostering shared experiences that strengthened their bond. However, the journey was not without its challenges. There were moments when old wounds resurfaced, triggered by innocuous events or stray thoughts. During such times, they leaned on the tools acquired during therapy, addressing issues head-on rather than allowing them to fester. Anna also sought support outside of her marriage, reconnecting with friends and pursuing hobbies that had fallen by the wayside. This not only provided her with a sense of individuality, but also alleviated the pressure on David to be her sole source of emotional support. David, recognizing the importance of transparency, maintained open lines of communication, especially regarding his professional life. He introduced Anna to colleagues, ensuring she felt included in that aspect of his world. This openness helped in rebuilding the trust that had been so deeply fractured. As months turned into a year, the scars of the past began to fade, replaced by a relationship that, while not devoid of imperfections, was fortified by resilience and mutual respect. They came to understand that love was not a static entity, but an evolving force, shaped by experiences both joyful and painful. In the quiet moments, when they sat together watching the sunset or shared stories from their day, Anna realized that, while the betrayal had altered the trajectory of their relationship, it had also paved the way for a deeper, more authentic connection. And in that realization, she found a semblance of peace. In the ensuing months, Anna and David continued their journey toward reconciliation, each day presenting new challenges and opportunities for growth. The initial steps they had taken, attending therapy, renewing their vows, and establishing open communication, laid a foundation, but the real test lay in their daily interactions and the rebuilding of trust. Anna found herself grappling with moments of doubt and insecurity. Despite David's consistent efforts to demonstrate his commitment, the shadow of his past betrayal occasionally clouded her thoughts. She would catch herself questioning his late arrivals from work or the occasional text message he received. Recognizing the detrimental nature of these suspicions, Anna decided to confront them head-on. One evening after dinner, she approached David. "David, can we talk?" she asked, her voice tinged with vulnerability. He nodded, setting aside the book he was reading. "Of course, Anna. What's on your mind?" She took a deep breath, gathering her thoughts. "I appreciate all the effort you've been putting into rebuilding our relationship. But there are times when I still feel uncertain. I don't want to feel this way, but it's hard to shake off." David reached for her hand, his grip firm yet gentle. "I understand, Anna. Rebuilding trust isn't instantaneous. Is there something specific that's been bothering you?" She hesitated before admitting, "Sometimes when you're late or receive messages, I can't help but wonder." David nodded, absorbing her words. "I want to be as transparent as possible. How about we establish some boundaries or systems that can help ease your mind? Maybe sharing our schedules or checking in more frequently?" Anna appreciated his willingness to accommodate her needs. "That might help. I don't want to invade your privacy, but some reassurance would mean a lot." They agreed to share their daily plans and to communicate any changes promptly. This mutual, Understanding fostered a sense of security for Anna and demonstrated David's commitment to transparency. In addition to these measures, they decided to engage in activities that would strengthen their bond. David suggested they take a dance class together, recalling how much Anna loved dancing during their early years. Though initially hesitant, Anna agreed. The dance classes became a source of joy and connection. They laughed at their missteps and celebrated small victories on the dance floor. These moments allowed them to rediscover the camaraderie and affection that had been overshadowed by past events. However, the journey wasn't devoid of setbacks. One weekend, David had to attend a work conference in another city. Despite their progress, Anna felt a pang of anxiety about his absence. Sensing her unease, David proposed, "Why don't you come with me? We can extend the trip by a day and explore the city together." Anna smiled, touched by his thoughtfulness. "I'd like that." The trip turned out to be a turning point. While David attended his conference sessions, Anna explored the city, indulging in her love for art by visiting local galleries. In the evenings, they dined at quaint restaurants, sharing stories and deepening their connection. During one such dinner, Anna confided, "This trip has reminded me of who I was before everything happened. It's like I'm reconnecting with parts of myself I had forgotten." David reached across the table, taking her hand in his. "I'm glad to see you rediscovering yourself. I love you, Anna, and I'm committed to our future." As they returned home, both felt a renewed sense of hope. They realized that healing wasn't about erasing the past, but about building a future informed by their experiences. They continued their therapy sessions, now focusing on setting future goals and aspirations as a couple. Anna decided to pursue a course in art therapy, combining her passion for art with a desire to help others. David supported her wholeheartedly, proud of her initiative. Their shared experiences, both painful and joyful, became the tapestry of their renewed relationship. They understood that love was an evolving journey, requiring effort, understanding, and mutual respect. In the quiet moments, as they sat together watching the sunset or simply enjoying each other's company, Anna felt a deep sense of contentment. The road had been arduous, but it led them to a place of deeper understanding and unwavering commitment. Their story became one of resilience, illustrating that while wounds may leave scars, they also tell tales of survival, growth, and the enduring power of love. In the months that followed, Anna and David continued to navigate the complexities of their renewed relationship. The foundation they had painstakingly rebuilt was strong, but both understood that maintaining it required ongoing effort and vigilance. They had come to appreciate that love was not a static entity, but an evolving journey, demanding continuous nurturing and understanding. Anna found solace in her art therapy course, immersing herself in the healing power of creativity. The classes not only provided her with a sense of purpose, but also allowed her to process her emotions in a constructive manner. She began to incorporate her newfound skills into her daily life, often sharing her projects with David. These moments became opportunities for them to connect on a deeper level, as David took an active interest in her work, asking questions and even participating in some of the creative exercises. David, on the other hand, continued to prioritize transparency and open communication. He made it a point to share details about his day, his interactions, and any challenges he faced at work. This openness reassured Anna and reinforced the trust they had been rebuilding. He also encouraged Anna to voice any concerns or insecurities she might have, ensuring that their lines of communication remained unobstructed. One evening, as they sat together in their living room, Anna turned to David with a thoughtful expression. "I've been thinking," she began, "about how far we've come and the work we've put into our relationship. I feel like we've grown individually and as a couple." David nodded, a smile playing on his lips. "I feel the same way. It's been a journey, but I believe we're stronger for it." Anna hesitated for a moment before continuing. I was wondering if we might consider giving back in some way. Maybe we could share our experiences to help others who might be going through similar challenges. David's eyes lit up with enthusiasm. That's a wonderful idea. We could look into volunteering or even facilitating workshops on communication and trust building. They began researching local organizations that focused on relationship counseling and support. After some deliberation, they decided to volunteer at a community center that offered programs for couples seeking guidance. Their role involved sharing their story, facilitating discussions, and providing insights based on their own experiences. The experience was both rewarding and enlightening. Anna and David found that by helping others, they were also reinforcing the lessons they had learned in their own relationship. They met couples from various backgrounds, each with their own unique challenges, and realized that the themes of trust, communication, and commitment were universal. Through their volunteer work, Anna and David also discovered the importance of continuous learning. They attended seminars and workshops to enhance their understanding of relationship dynamics, which not only benefited their volunteer efforts, but also enriched their personal connection. As time passed, their bond deepened, rooted in mutual respect and a shared commitment to growth. They understood that while their past would always be a part of their story, it did not define their future. By embracing their journey and using their experiences to uplift others, they found a renewed sense of purpose and fulfillment. In the quiet moments, as they sat side by side, Anna reflected on the path they had traveled. The pain of betrayal had been real and profound, but it had also been the catalyst for transformation. Together, they had turned their trials into triumphs, proving that with dedication, empathy, and unwavering support, love could not only endure but flourish.